Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, so what's going on? I showed you this pattern yesterday, and you can see that's a bear flag. This usually means we come down lower. If we do come down, we'd come down. Funny enough, we'd come down to like I hope not. This isn't the case, but we'd come down to like 133ish. So probably 150, because that's going to be a psychological level. Like if this breaks down, buyers have to step in at 181 again. If they don't, sellers going to push it down to 150. And you know what's funny is we would be getting closer to the 200 weighted moving average, which if you guys recall, you can use two different entry strategies. So when you are trading in the markets, you have to have, if you're going to trade a stock, you have to have three game plans essentially, right? An entry game plan, exit game plan, stop loss game plan. The stop loss game plan prevents you from, holding a bag, and you take the small loss and you move on. The entry game plan is so you can get in at the best price possible, and so you're not buying the very top like some people did because they went in without a strategy. And then finally, the take profit strategy. Where do you take profit? Which usually at levels. Like if you bought at 181, it would make sense to sell it some at 2 and then some at 250 because people like those big round numbers. So anyone who bought at 181, I mean, clearly they sold at 250 plus, right? Because it gapped up here and then it sold off. So there you go. You have to have those three. For one trade, you have to have essentially three different strategies. Three strategies that work together to prevent you from losing money, too much money, and to make the most if it does pump and get the best entry point possible. Because a bad entry means you're probably going to take a bigger loss. I know that from experience. So this is looking like it's going to play out the pattern, and no crossover has happened. So what do you want me to say to you? Just keep waiting. You just got to wait. You can't. You want to be careful because if this does break down and you're buying up here, you're going to be like, oh man, I should have listened. So you'll have plenty of opportunities. You just got to be patient, guys. Seriously, RGTI today, where is it? A lot of people in my Discord, because I know some of you also watch my RGTI videos. A lot of people in my Discord, we crossed over, and I just want to show you as an example. We crossed over, and a lot of people bought it open and rode it up. Right? You switch to the 3-minute time frame. We rode it up, and they took profit. They weren't greedy. They took profit. So they made their money because this one's volatile. It jumped from like a low of 13.77 to 16. So the crossover was money there despite the fact that it's about to cross back under. But the point is, what I'm trying to show you is this is going to happen in the future to color. It's going to get the crossover. We're going to have buyers. What have I been telling you? The crossover means we have buyers and volume on our side. And so the price is going to get pushed up, and then you don't get greedy. You buy it open and then you dump it. In fact, one girl in the Discord wanted me to guide her in terms of selling because she's like, I don't know where to sell. And I'm like, you know what? Sell half at 16 in case that's the top, and then hold. And then here it started going sideways, and I'm like, you know what? Just sell the rest. Just sell the rest. Don't be greedy. And so people are learning not to be greedy and just take profit. And so I'm showing you this as an example because this will happen eventually. The market goes in cycles. Eventually we'll get that crossover. We'll get a nice pump, 10-20%, and we'll take our profit and smile. Because we made our money and we didn't buy all the way up here, held it all the way down, none of that. So that's like why the crossover is important more than anything, so you're not holding a bag up here. You can also wait for the 200 weighted moving average as well. So my prediction is we break down, mainly because Nvidia is red, by the way. Like, look at all these green stocks right here. Then you go to Nvidia and the Magnificent 7, and it's just red candles, QQQ, big red candle, Tesla red, looking like it's going to absolutely dump, actually. SoundHound crossed over today as well, and some people traded it. I traded it and took my $100 profit. I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh no, only $100. Oh no. I worked at McDonald's when I was younger. Back then, they paid $8.25 an hour. I would have to work how many hours? Like 12 hours just to make 100. So I never complain. I take my 100 and I'm happy. And I still maintain my 100% win rate by sticking to the strategy. So KULR is the only one that hasn't gotten the crossover, which I would think that shows weakness. The fact that it hasn't happened with them. Because it's been happening to every other stock that I talk about. So it hasn't happened with KULR, which tells me like maybe people aren't that interested in that stock. Nvidia, big red candle, probably going to come down to that 200 weighted moving average where we buy every single time, and we have a 100% win rate with this because we're patient and disciplined. I'll wait a month for a signal. I don't care because it's a high win rate play. So I'm just showing you examples. Like, we will see this happen with KULR. You just got to be patient with this one because it's really not getting any attention. It's not. Which is, like I said, if this is a reflection of, if price is a reflection of human behavior, we would expect this to happen like it did last time, right? Huge pump. Then what happened? It came down. Some buyers stepped in. It got a mini pump here, right? People made their money. It went sideways before eventually breaking down and going lower. And people don't care about it, and it just goes lower and lower and just bleeds out, and eventually retracing most of its move. Isn't it funny that it's just kind of, it's all psychology really, but isn't it funny how we're kind of moving the same way we've done in the past, what? How many pumps has this had? 1, 2, is this the one that's had 4 pumps? 3, 4 pumps? Yeah, so 4 pumps since its existence in the stock market, and it always retraces the majority of its move. You take that as you will, and it always does the same thing. It hits a high, gets a little mini pump, and then it just slowly bleeds out. You take that as you will. I mean, I'm showing you the history. I don't know what, you know what I'm saying? The best time to buy will be wherever it bottoms out, because it's just going to do it again, in my opinion. And it's not good when Nvidia is dumping as well. That's not a good look. You want to have Nvidia on your side in terms of buying strength in the markets. If Nvidia is dumping, usually you're fighting against the Magnificent Seven, meaning all the big boys are struggling to go higher, which is going to make it harder to make money on the smaller ones. Let me put it that way. That's at least my thought process, just to be clear. So you want to have Nvidia pumping, because when Nvidia is pumping, usually everything else comes up with it, which is good. You want to have, again, buyers on your side. You want to have that strength in the markets. Right now we're seeing the opposite. So just be very careful. Like, the company's fine. Like, the company, fine. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about the company. It's just the stock itself is just behaving like you would expect, right? Because people are very predictable in the markets. I mean, the latest PRs aren't even anything to talk about. What? Yeah, this is what? They expanded their Bitcoin holdings. That kind of doesn't really do anything. That's not going to move the share price. What's going to move the share price is getting more contracts with NASA, the U.S. Army, Department of Defense, all that good stuff. I believe this is the future anyways, right? But the company isn't the stock isn't the company. And people who control the share price are the buyers and the sellers. And we know this pumped huge and loves to dump huge. So, you know, what's funny is one of the girls in the Discord, she's like, oh yeah, I bought what's her name? I forgot her name. But she bought at 23 cents, didn't sell it at the top. She could have, took 100K profit, and she didn't sell, and now she's holding it all the way down. And then she reveals to me, oh, by the way, I have like 5,000 words. I'm like, how many Nvidia do you hold? Because she said she holds Nvidia, and I'm like, how many? She's like, 5,000. And I'm like, $5,000 worth? Oh, that's not much. And she's like, no, 5,000 shares. And I'm like, whoa, okay, wait, what? I thought you were a broke millennial that was kicking herself because she didn't sell at 100K. But then she reveals to me that she actually has, like, what is that? 12 times 5, 6, throw some zeros in there, $600,000 worth of Nvidia. And I'm just like, wait, you're not a millennial. You're a Gen X with money. Like, so that was shocking to me, because I just assume anyone who's kicking themselves over not selling at the top usually tends to be someone on the poorer side, someone that's a millennial or younger, that's desperate to get rich quick. Usually the case. Sorry to lump everyone into that, but yeah. But there are millennials who have money. Apparently there's another girl from Poland or Switzerland or whatever. I think she's fake, but she has a lot of money too. And she's a millennial, like the first one I've met that's actually got money. So it's very interesting to see the different mindsets. The reason I'm saying this is because these people with money in my Discord, like who are worth more than $500,000, the reason they got rich, here's something I've noticed, and I want you to like write this down. The reason these people have a lot of money is because they are willing to buy and hold. They're willing to go for a longer term swing trade. They don't just buy it and flip it. They're willing to hold for the big money. They swing really long. They'll hold for weeks, if not months. And then they sell and take their 100K or whatever. And then they do it again. That's what I've noticed. They have patience and discipline. And they also tend to be more on the Gen X side. My audience is mainly Gen X with some millennials in there. So it's weird, right? When you think about that, like I know my audience. It's mostly Gen X. So it's people that could be literally my mom and dad. But I'm also, it's so weird because it's like I'm a millennial, and so like, but I have the patience and discipline of a Gen X. Like clearly it works. I've met too many people in the Discord who are Gen X, and they have like they got the slow and steady race thing going on, and they already have the money, right? Because they're older now. They're on their way out. Let's be real. They're like 50 plus, but we're still young. We're 30, 31. We can still be like them and have a lot of money when we're their age or sooner. If you exercise that patience and discipline. That's what I've learned from watching everyone else. I'm like, yeah, it's these people, they got to where they are because they were patient and disciplined. And I want you to just be patient, be disciplined. I have strategies that take sometimes a month to get a signal. Even right now, you know what? I don't even have to show you other examples. This topped out at December 27th at 549. December 27th, it's the 24th. It still hasn't crossed over, hasn't touched the the weighted moving average, the 200 weighted moving average. Why do I have volume here? I don't care about volume. All right, that's for scrubs. We buy cheap, that's what we want. We want it cheap, I don't care about volume. We have not gotten a signal. We've gotten it from other stocks, and we took advantage and made our money, right? Like I showed you with Soundhound and Rigetti. But with KULR, that hasn't happened. And I've been waiting a month. We might go 2 months until I finally get a signal. Well, if that happens, guess what? I'll probably be buying it like at $1. Let's hope that doesn't happen for the sake of the bag holders. But for longs, it doesn't matter. You're going to get it real cheap. Like, continue to wait. I think I've been T for T in terms of accuracy when it comes to just waiting for that MACD. That MACD is just going to save you from buying tops. It's going to get you a good entry point, and you'll be a better trader for it. That will the fact that all you have to do is sit on your butt and wait for a crossover. The fact that that's all you have to do to already be better than most at trading or investing, because you get, like I said, investors who are averaging down, they're not getting the best bang for their buck, right? We're about being cheap. But if you're just waiting for this crossover, you're going to get in cheap. And so many people that were telling me, oh, well, you're going to miss out when this run's huge. Guys, we just went through the psychological part of this, the fact that it does the same thing every single time. But that's a good thing. The fact that this has a pattern that repeats, that also means it's abusable, right? Think about that for a second. If it has a pattern that repeats itself over and over, look at this. This is pump, dump, goes sideways, breaks down lower. Oh my God, it almost looks very similar. The fact that it has this pattern is actually a good thing, because it makes it's a pattern that repeats itself, and it's very abusable. You can abuse it. This is why I have such a high win rate. I haven't lost since November, because I abuse patterns. Look at this stock. I'm abusing this pattern. Every time it comes down here to this weighted moving average, it's a buy. And then I abuse the hell out of it by buying, and then it pumps, sell off, rinse and repeat. Abuse it as long as it holds. When it stops repeating its pattern, then stop. Take that one loss, and move on. The fact that KULR has such an abusable pattern, which is so weird to say abuse. I wonder if the algorithm's going to punish me for saying abuse. I don't know. But I'm just abusing the stock market and its patterns. If you can do that, you're going to make hand over fist money. Because this thing just repeats, rinse and repeats. So why not just rinse and repeat and just wait? Doesn't it look eerily similar though? I just realized that. It's so similar. Pump, comes down, gets a little mini pump here, and then it goes sideways for a while, and then it just goes lower, bleeds out. Huge pump. Oh my God, that looks too on the nose, right? Huge pump, comes down, gets a little bounce, and then it goes sideways, and then eventually breaks down lower. I mean, that bear flag is no joke, so Hopefully you walked away learning something from this. Like I said, I try to make everything a lesson. Be patient and disciplined like Gen X. They didn't get to where they are with their 6 figures, 7 figures. Some of them have 7 figures. They got there by being patient and disciplined. But keep in mind, they're older, right? They're like 50, 60. So they had to, they're not millennials. They're not 30. They got money at 50 to 60. Let me put it that way. So you still got time. In fact, if you can get rich off the stock market sooner, I mean, but even better, right? Because you're not old and cranky with all kinds of problems. Cranky, you're not creaking. I'm making fun of the older people in my Discord. They're probably gonna be like, "Screw you, I'm not creaking." Sure, dude with $500,000 or ma'am, your bones aren't creaking yet. But jokes aside, hopefully you really learned something from this. Like, this is a study. Every video I've ever made, it's nothing more than a study of human psychology in the markets. And if you can abuse that, because I'm going to abuse the hell out of it. Why do you think I'm still here? I just have to wait sometimes months for my signal, and that's okay. I'll get it real cheap. You'll get it real cheap, and you're going to be like, wow, I'm glad I listened to you because I bought real cheap, and then it pumped again 10%. Not 10%, 10x. 20x. I feel sorry for the people that are holding it all the way down. I feel sorry for the people that bought like at $1 and they're like holding it all the way down. Like they didn't take profit and they're holding it all the way down to their average. Because that would suck. Like imagine buying in at $1 or $1.50, you're up like 3-4x and you hold it all the way back down to your average. I think that's worse than bag holding. Because a bag holder, they're holding a big bag, yes, but imagine being up so much and you're so greedy you don't take profit and then you keep holding it all the way back down to your average. I think that's worse. I think that's worse, in my opinion. I don't know why. Maybe I can't think. I don't want to. You know what? This video is too long. That's it for the video. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe button. You know what to do. Be patient. Be disciplined.